You're listening to Farang Stories, Plas Deal, Episode 3, The Calculation. Morning began too early again. The air had the weight of old cloth. Pla lay awake watching the shadows of the window bars stretch across the wall. She could hear the tailor below sharpening his scissors. The sound made a thin rhythm that matched her heartbeat. She rose, made coffee, and opened her notebook. The figures waited. Rent 13 days. Medicine tomorrow. Ping's school shoes, circled twice. She turned the page and wrote the heading, Ways. Under it she listed, borrow from Fon, sell phone, extra shift, ask Anan for advance. At the end she left a blank space for whatever hope looked like when it arrived. The kettle hissed. She poured, drank, and stared at the page until the words lost shape. At 10 she walked to the clinic to pay part of the bill. The nurse recognized her. You always on time, she said kindly. Not always enough, Pla replied. The nurse shrugged. Enough comes later. She wrote a receipt and smiled. Mother, better. Yes, then you are rich already. Pla bowed slightly and left. The compliment followed her down the corridor, sweet but without calories. In the foyer the air was cooler, a tired machine pushing out hope in measured breaths. Posters on the wall showed smiling families and the price of flu shots. A boy with a bandaged elbow held his mother's hand and tried not to cry. Pla stood near the door and called her mother. You paid? Her mother asked, voice thin but cheerful. I paid part, tomorrow more. How is the leg? Still slow, still mine. Ping goes to school. She eats. Good. Pla watched the automatic doors open and close on a loop. Do not worry the maths. I will manage. You always manage. But pray sometimes. It helps the numbers forget to be cruel. I will, she said, and ended the call before the quiet could become a question. Outside, the sun had sharpened. She walked along the main road, head lowered, watching her own shadow trying to keep up. She reached the money transfer shop, sent 500 baht home, and typed a message. Paid hospital, buy fruit for Ping. I work more hours this week. Her mother's reply came a minute later. You work too much. Pray sometimes. Pla typed back. Work is prayer. By 4 she was at the lounge. The room was half lit. Ning was polishing glasses, Fon balancing the cash book on one palm while she added figures with the other. Morning, teacher, Fon said. Pla smiled. Only if you are the student. I was born clever. I skip class. Pla set her bag down. Need help with the fridge? It leaks again. Fon nodded. Later. Today we talk business first. What business? Fon poured 2 glasses of water. You trust me? Yes. Then listen. My cousin has microloan group. For women, no big papers. You borrow, you pay weekly. Easier than Anan. Interest? 10%. Pla shook her head. Still teeth. Fon sighed. All money has teeth. Some bite slower. I cannot. If I start again, I never finish. Fon looked at her for a moment, then nodded. I understand. Ning joined them, smiling. What we talk about? Money, Fon said. Ning laughed softly. Always hungry subject. Pla watched her. Ning had youth still, yet also an honesty that did not provoke envy. It was simply another kind of strength. You still help at the mission? Yes, Saturday. We teach new girls to read English menu. Easy words first. Chicken, beer, change. Useful religion, Pla said. Ning smiled wider. You come help? Maybe, Fon snorted. She help enough here. The door opened. Customers. Conversations scattered like birds. In the lull before 5, the fridge cried again. Water trembled at the lip of the gasket and fell in regular drops. Leave it, I call a man, Fon said. We save that money. Pla unplugged the unit and slid it out, shoulder against steel, second nature. She lifted the kick plate, found the shallow tray, and tipped it. See? Drain blocked. She fished a cocktail straw from the bar caddy, pushed it into the narrow tube, then blew once, steady. Somewhere inside, a bubble complained, and then moved on. She reseated the tray and wiped her hands. Ning watched, amused. "You could be mechanic." "I am," Plas said. "Of small things." The night grew thick with the usual noise. Tourists, locals, laughter that began too loudly and ended in coughs. Plas moved through it with quiet precision. She noticed who drank too fast, who was near tears, who needed distraction, who needed the bill. Ethan arrived late. No jacket tonight. White shirt, sleeves rolled. He looked at her as if they were sharing a private joke. "Long day?" he asked. "They are all long," she said. "Still thinking? About what?" "My offer." She looked at him steadily. "You do not stop. I am patient. I believe in second chances. For yourself or for others. For everyone." She placed his drink down and turned away. He stayed until closing. When he paid, he said, "You should let me make things easier. You work too hard for too little." Plas said nothing. She cleaned the counter after he left. Though it was already clean, Fon came over. "Again?" "Yes. He does not give up. He thinks persistence is romance. Maybe it is for people who can afford it." Plas smiled tiredly. "Then it is not for me." Sunday morning, she met her landlord. He stood at the doorway of the building holding a folder of papers. "Kun Plas," he said. "Rent increase next month. New tax. How much?" 500. She breathed slowly. "When start?" "Next month." She nodded. "Thank you for telling." He smiled. "You are good tenant. Always pay. I like people who try. Trying is cheaper than leaving," she said. He laughed and walked away. In the stairwell, she sat for a moment, the paper still in her hand. She thought of the notebook, the blank space she had left under Waze. Perhaps this was what hope looked like, a gap that could fit only one more number. Monday afternoon brought rain. Real rain this time, the kind that turns the road into an argument between mud and memory. The lounge stayed half empty until 7. Fon sat by the door, reading last month's accounts. "How bad?" Plas asked. "Better than March? Worse than January?" Story of life. A small group of German tourists came in, wet and cheerful. They ordered beer and grilled chicken. One of them called her Miss Smile. She did not correct him. By 8, the rain softened. Ethan arrived again, shook off his umbrella, and took his stool. "You will catch cold," she said. "Not if you sit near the right person." "Then sit near the fan." He laughed. "You are difficult. Not for sport." He sipped his drink. "I am serious, Plas. I could give you 30,000. No tricks. Pay your rent, your mother's bills, your child's school. You do not even have to quit here. Just see me sometimes. Dinners. A weekend, maybe. You would be independent." "I already am," she said. He leaned closer. "Independent does not mean happy. I am not for sale, Mr. Price." He smiled. "Everyone sells something. Not everyone sells the same thing." Fon's voice came from the bar. "Plas, table 4 needs receipt." She walked away. When she returned, Ethan had left another note under the glass. Thicker this time, folded. She picked it up, expecting another 500. Inside was a 1,000 baht note and a business card. "If you change your mind," she folded it back, walked to the bar, and slid it across to Fon. "Tip for the house." Fon looked at the note, then at her. He pushed harder now. "Yes, you need to tell him no. Not polite. No. Real." Plas nodded. Soon, that night she could not sleep. The rain had come back, tapping the roof like an accountant checking figures. She sat by the window, watching the alley reflect the streetlights. Her phone lay on the table. She picked it up, scrolled through messages. Her mother had sent another photo of Ping doing homework. The girl's hair was tied in a lopsided ponytail, her expression half serious, half sleepy. Under it, her mother had written, "She work hard, like you." Plas stared at it for a long time. Then she opened the messages from Ethan. There were 5 unread. You okay? Long day? I can help. Dinner still stands. Think of your family. She locked the phone and went to the balcony. The rain smelled of iron. She whispered, I am thinking. The next morning, she visited Anan. He sat at his plastic table under the awning, fanning himself with a newspaper. Kun Pla, you come early. I need small loan. How small? 8,000. Ah, he smiled. Not small for me. I pay weekly. He nodded. 4 weeks. Interest 2,000. Agree. Pla closed her eyes. Too much. Then 6,000. Interest 1,500. Better? Still teeth, she said. He laughed. Better sharp teeth than slow poison. She thought of her mother's medicine, the landlord's notice, the line she had left blank in her notebook. Fine, she said. 6,000. He wrote a receipt, gave her a plastic-wrapped envelope. Do not be late. I like you, but rules like gravity. Same for everyone. She walked away with the envelope in her bag. The money had a smell, not of paper but of heat. That evening she sent 3,000 to her mother, bought medicine and paid part of the rent. When she added up what remained, there were only hundreds, not thousands. Fon noticed the look on her face and said, You did what you must. Yes, but it is not enough. It never is. That is why we open again tomorrow. Ethan did not come that night. She felt both relief and disappointment, which she hated equally. 2 days later he returned. He ordered a beer this time. You have been busy, he said. Yes. He watched her carefully. You look tired. I am. You took my advice? No. I took a loan. He nodded slowly. So you will spend the next month working twice as much to be half as free. Is that pride or punishment? It is maths, she said. He leaned forward. I can change those numbers. 1 dinner. That is all. Then you decide. She looked at him. The fan above them creaked. Music from the speakers drifted in and out of tune. She thought of her mother's plaster, Ping's shoes, the envelope already half empty. Dinner, she said. Only dinner. His smile arrived before his answer. Tomorrow, 7. I will collect you. She nodded once. Here, after work. He nodded. Good. When he left, Fon came over. You agreed? Yes. Fon sighed. Be careful. I will. Dinner becomes dessert faster than you think. Pla smiled faintly. I only eat rice. The next evening she prepared without changing much. Same trousers, clean blouse, hair tied neatly. She looked at herself in the mirror, at the line between her eyebrows, the small scar near her chin, the quiet eyes. She took the red thread bracelet from her wrist and placed it on the shelf. Stay here, she said softly. Ethan arrived at closing. His car waited outside, engine humming like a promise. He opened the door. You look beautiful. I look like I work, she said. He laughed. Let us get dinner. They drove along the coast road, lights gliding across the windscreen. The city moved past in slices. A 7-Eleven glowing like a small ship, a pack of dogs sleeping in formation, a woman selling petrol in used whiskey bottles. The restaurant sat at the end of a short drive, set back from the road, quiet and sure of itself. White tablecloths, glass that chimed when set down. The air smelled of lemon and fish and a kind of confidence you cannot buy in small notes. They were seated near the window. The sea was only a suggestion beyond the palms, a darker darkness in the night. The waiter stood with a pad held like a certificate. He spoke Thai with caution and English with pride. Ethan ordered in English, then repeated the crucial parts in Thai. It worked. The food arrived exactly as the menu had promised. You like seafood? He asked. Yes. Good. The chef flew in from Singapore, he said, as if flights could season a dish. She ate quietly. The fish was delicate, the rice obedient, the vegetables bright with salt. She watched the room the way you watch traffic. At the bar, a couple sat too close, the woman laughing into her hand. At the kitchen door, a boy waited with a tray and thought about anything except trays. Ethan talked about Boston, about business, about how the world rewards risk. He listed hotels in other cities and made them sound like cousins. Pla listened and nodded at the right times, a skill learned in rooms that sold laughter by the hour. He liked a clean answer. He liked to see agreement form on other people's faces. She noted practical things. The table had one scratch near the edge. The cutlery was heavier than it looked. The distance from the door to the car was 22 steps. She counted exits as a habit. She counted costs as a creed. When the plates were cleared, he leaned forward. "You are nervous." "No, you do not have to be. You can trust me. Trust is not cheap. I can afford it." He placed an envelope on the table. "For you, 30,000. No contract. Just dinner. You decide what comes next." She looked at it. The same pale cardstock she had seen in offices, serious as law. "And if I take it, then you breathe easier. And if I do not, then someone else will." She reached out slowly, touched the envelope with her fingertips. The paper was thick. "You said dinner only." "Yes, dinner and understanding." She slid the envelope towards herself. "Understanding costs extra." He laughed softly. "You are remarkable." "No," she said, just tired. She stood. "I should go." "I will drive you." "No, I walk." He did not insist. "Think about it." She took the envelope, nodded, and walked out. The night air was damp but clean. She held the envelope tight, as if it might fly away. The car park smelled of jasmine and petrol. At the gate, a guard in a too-large jacket smiled at her without asking questions. She walked to the pavement and turned towards the sea. The road ran straight for a while. The rain earlier had washed dust into neat lines along the curb. A monk on a scooter passed, robe tucked up, orange bright against the dark. A busker near the promenade tried a song he did not yet know. His guitar stayed in tune, his voice did not. A child offered her a flower garland. She bought it without haggling and hung it on her wrist. The scent was clean as water. At a stall, she bought a bottle of milk for the boy who lived upstairs with his grandmother. It sweated in her hand as she walked. Outside a 7-Eleven, two girls in office clothes shared a plastic spoon and a laugh. A tourist argued into his phone and lost in both languages. The city performed itself with professional sincerity. At the corner, she stopped under a streetlight. She opened the envelope. The notes shone softly, new and precise. She counted them once, then again. She imagined the numbers moving in her notebook. Anan paid, mother safe, shoes for Ping, a small cushion to keep the week from tearing. She closed the envelope, wrapped it in her scarf, and carried it home like a confession. Inside the room, she laid it on the bed and stared. The fan clicked every third turn. She sat beside the money, picked up her notebook, and wrote 3 new lines. Anan paid, mother safe, Ping shoes. She paused, then added, rent increase next month. She closed the book and whispered, now it is done. The air did not agree. The fan turned once, twice, and clicked. She placed the jasmine garland on top of the notebook. For a moment, the room smelled like a temple that had learned to keep its doors open at night. She took a breath and drew 2 columns under a new title, The Ledger. On the left, she wrote money, then listed every debt in small, neat letters. On the right, she wrote choices, then waited. The page stayed blank on that side. She left it blank a little longer, because sometimes the only honest number is nothing. She undressed, lay down without switching off the lamp, and watched the light crawl up the wall until morning. You've been listening to Farang Stories. If you'd like more tales from Pattaya, Bangkok and beyond, subscribe and share this episode.